Hi there, everybody. It's Rob Link from the Tech Care Association. Before you watch this webinar, I just want to say one thing, and that the presentation here is meant to help educate everyone on the right to repair issue and working with the OEM. So we're not taking a side or trying to get you to go in one direction or the other on the issue. We're just trying to help people understand the issue a little bit more. So I hope you enjoy the video now. Thank you. Hey, I want to welcome everybody to our webinar this month. I am actually flying solo today, so I hope you guys will bear with me and allow me to have a break now and then to grab a drink or something like that. Reason being is I want to cover a lot on this webinar, talking about working with the OEMs and right to repair. And I wanted to give you guys kind of the best viewpoint of things that I can. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't have partisans on either side. Obviously, folks on the OEM side are partisan to their side, and folks on the right to repair side are a little partisan on their side as well. So I'm trying to give you something right down the middle because I've talked to both sides, and that's where they are. So here's the topic today, and that's working with the OEMs, okay? Equipment, original equipment manufacturers, so people that make the tech. So Apple, Samsung, are the big ones we think of, but there's thousands of manufacturers out there, from the big guys down to small companies that are out there. And then right to repair. Right to repair is, of course, a movement. We'll talk about that a little bit and give you some more information about it. But there's a few different sides to look at there as well. And let me tell you this, after attending CES 2022 earlier this month, I can tell the opportunities have never been better for the tech care industry. There are just so many amazing opportunities out there that, it should really blow your mind and really think of the opportunities, the possibilities that are out there. A lot of people think of our industry as just cell phones, or they think of it maybe as computers in terms of repair and refurbishment or recycling, but it's so much more than that. It is so much more than that, and we'll go over that today as well. But before we get going in that, I want you to imagine a world where when people have a problem with their tech, okay, of any kind, they can have someone nearby take care of it quickly, okay? So if they've got broken tech, it can be fixed by someone nearby quickly. If they're frustrated with their tech, and so many people are, I mean, how many of us don't act as tech support for our own family and friends? But if they're frustrated with their tech, they can get supported quickly. And if they can't afford the latest tech, or they can't afford to replace their tech for whatever reason, then they can find affordable tech nearby to fill that need for them with refurbished tech or reused tech. And then they can take this trash that's becoming a huge, huge issue, for our world, right? When people are done with their tech, they don't know what to do with it. And, you can turn trash to treasure in some ways, but at the very least, it can be disposed of responsibly. And there's so many wonderful people throughout our industry that are doing a great job taking care of tech when people are done with it. But in, one person's, end of life, right, is maybe another person's beginning of life for that tech. And so it's really important to be able to reuse tech, to refurbish it, and to find homes for it. And we found that more important during the pandemic, I think, than any other time in history, where these product availability issues started to arise, and people needed refurbished tech because there was so much demand. So but imagine that world where we can all work together to make that happen. Because when the customer wins, everyone wins, okay? And this is kind of a message that I really want to emphasize for our OEM friends, and hopefully a few of you are attending our webinar today, or maybe watching it later on our YouTube channel, which we'll post here in a week or two. But when the customer wins in these situations, when they get their tech fixed, when they get supported, when they can find affordable tech, and when they can find a place to get rid of it when they're done with it, then OEMs can focus on making more tech, on more innovation, okay? A lot of people out there, and I get this from some OEMs or some people that are in that arena, that they say, operators don't want to fix stuff because they're afraid it'll stifle innovation. That's just not true, okay? If people can get their product taken care of and supported properly, they're going to move on to the next thing, right? And that allows the OEMs more access to be able to do that. Tech care people, on the other hand, can take care of it. They can make a living, which a lot of them are doing very successfully right now. They can make a living and support their families by taking care of tech. And this is an important thing if we're able to work together. So a lot of people are going to ask me, what is the tech care industry? Okay, well, first of all, the tech care industry is taking care of people's techs, but let's define it a little more specifically, okay? So what we see tech care is that anyone who takes care after tech, after it's sold, okay? So that's going to be tech repair, folks, that exist, and a lot of people will call cell phone repair or computer repair or something like that. I think Asurion really hit the nail on the head after they bought YouBreak and rebranded, because that's what they're calling their stores. And let me tell you something, friends. Some people argue this point with me about it being a good name change, because I think it's brilliant. I really do. A lot of people say, oh, a lot of people know the name YouBreak, but they don't, okay? They don't. And trust me, Asurion's a big company. They spent a lot of money with brand recognition and understanding that. So, that's why they decided to go with, Asurion Tech Repair, as the name of their new rebranding effort here with YouBreak, and you'll start to see those names happen. So, but tech repair incorporates a lot more than just cell phone repair. Okay, it covers a lot more than just computer repair. It covers anything really with a circuit board and a power source, is the way that we defined it. And if you're just doing cell phone repair, you really should look at branching out into repairing other things, making sure that you learn how to micro solder and repair different items, different things, because that's the future of tech repair industry. Tech support, while it's pretty self-explanatory, what that is, but people supporting tech, there's a lot of really good people, including one of our members, one of our industry partners, HelpCloud, who does remote tech support for people. And this industry gets a really black eye, just like the tech repair industry, as not being, authorized, not being, somebody that's blessed by an OEM, to do what they do. And then, of course, there's a lot of rogue players in both areas, in tech repair and in tech support, right? There's, we hear all kinds of horror stories. I know there's a dude out there that's got a YouTube channel dedicated to talking about these scam tech support people that, gain access to your device and then, steal all kinds of stuff. We want to get rid of those people. There's tech repair people that are rogue players too. They're opportunists, okay? That aren't doing great work, that hire people one day and have them fixing somebody's phone, hours later or the next day. And that's just not the way that, folks should be doing business. We want to get rid of those rogue players. We want quality individuals in our industry. And I think everybody in our industry would agree with that. We want to be able to support those people. We want to be able to promote those people and assure customers that they're getting good quality tech repair or they're getting good quality tech support. Now, also part of the tech care industry is tech reuse and refurbishment, okay? A lot of similar problems that folks in that arena run into. Maybe ITAD players that are out there that are doing this. But they have repair facilities where they're, cleaning up tech to one degree or another. It may just be polishing it and selling stuff they can't fix, or they may have a full-blown tech repair department within their organization. But those folks are getting tech able to be resold, back into the market and reused, which is a valuable, valuable service that we all need. an end of life, right? When tech reaches its end of life, we know better than anybody within the tech care industry when it gets to that point. Trust me, friends, if it can be resold and reused, they're going to do it. If they can make a buck off of it, they're going to do it. And that's great. A lot of refurbishers buy from recyclers. There's even a very strong retro repair community. That's amazing. There's folks out there that are doing artwork with broken and recycled tech. It's amazing what's going on in our industry. And there's a lot of amazing people throughout the industry. So the big thing is that we all do the same thing. We all take care of tech. And our industry is stronger when we all work together. And there's so many opportunities for us going forward. And we at the Tech Care Association are really trying to, find those opportunities and promote those opportunities for all of us to work for it. And if you think about it long enough, like I have, you're going to see what those opportunities are and see ways that we can all work together as an industry to support each other, to promote each other, and to help people find, these valuable services that are out there. On the other hand, strength in unifying together and working together provides us a negotiating point, okay, and some negotiating strength when it comes to the OEMs. That's really important. The OEMs don't want to work with one little shop. Forget it. They're maybe going to work with some of the bigger organizations, but still, the bigger organizations don't compare at all in size. And when I talk about that, I talk about U-Brake iFix, CPR, Batteries Plus, big organizations that have lots of shops, but it still pales in comparison to the number of independent repair shops that are out there. Working together is key for all of us moving forward. So, I kind of just answered the question, and I'm going to take a sip of water here. Why is it important for the industry to be united? So, sorry about the slurp there. We're small. As big as our industry is to get, out there, we're small as compared to the big OEMs. These big tech companies have lots of money. They have lots of customers that support them and are rabid about them in some ways, and love their product. And that's great. And a lot of us, right, we're the same way. We love their product as well. And I think it's silly to go out there and criticize, these big tech companies, time and time again, if you make a living, fixing their product or working with their product, because, that's biting the hand that feeds you. So, it's important for us to be united, because then in unity, we have strength. In unity, we don't have to conform with each other. We don't have to do the same thing. We don't have to be the same thing, okay? But it gives us strength and a negotiating position when we're working with OEMs, or the companies that are out there, or you're looking at Right to Repair, which again, we're going to talk about here in just a minute. So OEMs, if you're out there, this is a message I've been trying to make crystal clear to you. You need our industry now more than ever, okay? Because as everything becomes tech, you're going to need more people to support it. I mean, my friends at Apple, I love Apple. It's great product, right? And they've done so well, right? So proud of them. But think about this, if you go on, and people have done this many times, especially when issues arise or when new devices about to come out, and you try to get an appointment for support or repair, it could be days sometimes. And then, for instance, in my area, I live in the Washington, D.C. area, I might have to drive to a big shopping mall to get to an Apple store. I might have to drive to an area that's very congested. And trust me, traffic, like many other big cities around here, is horrible. Wouldn't it be better if your customers, which they're already doing right now, can find local support, okay? If they can do that, if they can get their issue solved, quickly, they're going to love your product even more. They're going to buy your product even more, okay? Plus, you're supporting these local, community-based organizations, these community-based small businesses. And that's good for everybody. That provides all these small business people with more revenue. And if they've got more revenue, they're going to buy more of your stuff too. Trust me. I used to own my own chain of tech repair shops, and my guys bought stuff all the time. right? I buy stuff all the time, a little too much sometimes, but it's important that, we work together. It is really important. It's going to help you. This myth that has arisen that, repair hurts OEMs is silly. That, better support hurts OEMs. I mean, or that OEMs can only do this themselves. That's just a silly notion. The tech repair industry, the tech support industry, they created these things on their own. They support your products sometimes better than you do yourselves. So let's work together and let's find opportunity to eat each other, because OEMs, you need us and we need you, obviously. So the tech care industry, okay, and the Tech Care Industry Association, which I represent, can and will partner with big and small tech companies, again, because we both need each other. It's vital, I think, for everyone's future, for everyone's success, to be working together. So how do we do that, right? How do we work together, to do these things? And there's so many opportunities that are out there. We just need to find ways. So that's kind of the OEMs here. Now, let me talk right to repair. And OEM folks that are watching now or watching later on YouTube, once I said right to repair, you're probably getting a little prickly. I worked with the right to repair movement for more than a year, for almost 2 years. I know a lot about it. There's a lot of great people in that movement, and there's a lot of great ideas over there. And I left on not such a great note. Sorry about that. Things were going on, but, I did leave that movement, as a full-time person for certain reasons. And I don't know, maybe I'll mention a little of that today, maybe I won't, but let's cover some basics here, because what I found when I was working with the right to repair movement is that not a lot of people understand it. Okay. Not a lot of people know about it. And like I said, not a lot of people understand what it is or what it will do or when it will happen. In fact, I heard Lewis Rossman, everybody knows, mention recently about how, people have been congratulating him that he had won the right to repair movement because of, recent news that was going on. And obviously he hasn't won. He's still working on things, and he tried to tamper that down, I think, in a recent video. So let's dive into a little bit. What is right to repair? So right to repair is the idea, and this is what they say in the movement. If you own something, okay, phone, tablet, computer, car, whatever, that has tech in it, a John Deere tractor, you should be able to repair it yourself or take it to a technician of your choice. Okay, sounds pretty simple, right? Sounds pretty simple. Now, they're working towards, a legislative end towards this, folks that are committed to the cause. But before I get into that, let's talk a little bit about the two camps of right to repair. Okay, so there are, and I've looked into this pretty well, friends. There are really two, camps to the right to repair movement. Okay, so let me try to spell those out for you and explain them a little bit. Maybe you'll understand it a little bit better. So the right to repair political movement, okay, is a group that's headed up, okay, mainly by U.S. PER, Lewis Rossman and his Fight to Repair group that he recently formed within the last year. Repair.org, the Repair Association, which has been doing this for a very long time, for 8 plus years, I believe. And iFixit. iFixit is probably the thing that most people recognize the most. It's a big brand. In fact, it's the biggest brand in the repair industry by far. Okay, when you talk about brand recognition, iFixit is recognized by more people than anybody. And they've been integral, and they've been a big part of the right to repair political movement, trying to get a law passed in a state house, okay, to make it a law that, I just said that, that, the OEMs have to provide certain things. They have to provide tools, OEM tools, parts, diagnostics equipment, software, if that's needed, to sync parts, et cetera, to anybody. Okay, so that's what they're shooting for. It's the laws, as you can imagine, are a little more complex, a little more involved. So let me kind of try to cover part of that here in a minute. But I want to talk about the other camp in the right to repair movement, and that's the social movement. Um, so the social movement is more a group of people, and I've seen this, although it's not an organized group of people, but it's a group of people that believe in the right to repair philosophy. Okay, they believe that yes, OEMs should be, more open to repair, that they should make things more repairable. But they kind of stop short of a law. Okay, they stop short of wanting to have the government involved in this process, and they just want to put pressure on OEMs to be more repair friendly. And that's a great way to look at things. Both sides, quite frankly. So, let's go over some differences and some things that have happened with the movements themselves. So the political movement, it's been around for a while. Some of y'all have been involved in it in one way or another. I know, I myself, when I was working with the movement, in Boston one year spent a couple of days calling repair shops all over, the Boston area to get them involved, and got a few folks out to speak. So some of you have spoken at these events, at the political hearings. In the last year, though, they've really seen a big uptick and a lot of success. And let me kind of spell that out for you. So they filed bills in various state houses since 2013, as many as 25 last year, okay? And that kind of changes from year to year, and I'll tell you why. Believe it or not, although we talk about politics all the time, okay, state houses don't meet all the time, okay? In fact, some state houses across the country, and I won't bore you with it. You can Google it. Some state houses around the country don't meet certain years, right? They only meet every other year. They only meet during certain parts of the year. Okay, they don't meet year round. Some for only a few weeks or a month or two. Some meet at different points during the year. So they filed bills in different state houses, across the country. And it's important to know that, like I said, things change from time to time. People take on this cause and drop this cause, from time to time. So, they've done a great job. They've done a great job getting these bills filed in various state houses. A lot of you, again, have participated in committee hearings in some of those state houses. Now, committee hearings are kind of early steps for a bill. Okay, so people will come in and talk pro and con of a bill, and you'll see that in right to repair hearings. Okay, and it'll be handled by different committees, maybe a commerce committee, maybe an agriculture committee when it comes to right to repair for farm machinery, for instance. So, but the committee hearings are really tough because you only get a couple of minutes usually to speak, and then they cut you off. Okay, the OEM side will bring in lobbyists that are pretty high-paid folks that speak really well and know a lot of people. Okay, that's what they do full-time. The right to repair people are not full-time people. The right to repair people are generally repair shop owners. They're volunteers within the movement that come in and speak, and some have given incredible testimony. Okay, it's been great to hear their stories and to know their plights. So that's what a lot of folks have done. In 2021, the Right to Repair political movement helped move a bill out of committee for the first time ever, okay, to a floor vote in the New York Senate for the first time ever, and they won a floor vote for the first time ever. Okay, 51-12, but here's the big but. It was the end of the session, okay? The session for the New York legislature, yeah, okay, ended, I think, a day or two later. And for everybody who can remember, oh gosh, what was it? The Saturday morning cartoon thing. I forget even the name of it. How a bill becomes a law. Maybe you saw it in school, right? A little song. I won't sing it to you. But it's gotta get a floor vote on one side, then go to the House in that legislature, and then it's got to be signed by the governor to become a law. Okay. And lots of things can happen in between there. But you know what? That was a great win for the Right to Repair movement in 2021. So this year, the legislative cycle has begun in the U.S. It begins in the beginning of the year. A lot of these state legislatures, meet at the beginning of the year, and so that's kind of when anybody who's trying to push a bill through is going to be very active. So this year, there's a bill in the Washington State, legislature that's showing a lot of promise. And it's already, and I think they're meeting today, so this is going to be updated probably later today, but it's already gotten through the committee and been sent on to for evaluation. Basically, it's got a budgeting and making sure it's got all its T's crossed, I's dotted, et cetera, et cetera. So it got through, which again, great thing, great progress. So, but then after it was pushed through, it got kind of an amendment, I guess you would call it. It got an add-on to it, which is that it's going to require certifications, okay, for people. And it's focused on professional repair. Now, folks in our industry, we're all for that, okay? At least I think most of us are. And in a lot of cases, most of us also believe that we only want professionals repairing electronics, repairing tech. I know that's what I believe and what I think should happen. I don't think right to repair should include consumers, except to the degree that allows consumers to choose, what they want to do and leaves the consumer option available. Okay. But anybody who's ever run a repair shop, okay, and again, I did it myself. I had a chain of shops here in the DC area, knows that a lot of times when people try to fix things, they break them. It's complicated and it requires a lot of tools, a lot of skills. Okay, so here's the issue with the political movement. There's a lot of moving parts, and it requires the government to pass a bill and force people to do things. Then on the back end of things, what the hope is with the right to repair movement is much like the right to repair movement in the automotive world. And that is, you pass one bill in one state house, like the automotive movement did in the Massachusetts state legislature. And then the OEMs, in this case, the car makers, sign what's called an MOU, a memo of understanding, okay? In other words, they don't want to fight a battle in every state house across the country. So they come to an agreement and they sign an MOU. And that's what they did with right to repair in automotive. And it worked out. So the automotive, the aftermarket automotive repair industry could thrive and does. Now, this past year, or maybe 2 years ago, I think at this point, there was a second right to repair bill with automotive that came up, and about telematics. And it's very controversial, and it's a very hard-fought battle in Massachusetts again, and it passed by a voter resolution, okay? Not as much as the first one, but it passed. But now it's tied up in court, okay? And they were hoping to have a resolution any day now, but it's been tied up in court for at least the last 6 months. I don't follow the automotive side that much, but that's what I understand. So lawmaking is very complicated. It's very complicated. So the more recent thing with the political movement is the Biden executive order. Now this is pretty exciting, I think, for both sides of the right to repair movement. So whether you're into making a law or whether you're into just the idea, the concept of right to repair and the social movement, the Biden executive order basically is saying, hey, we all need to make repair more attainable for everybody. And this is crazy. It's ridiculous. It's the adult in the room finally kind of standing up and saying, this is silly, okay? We need more repair options. People need to repair and want to repair. So let's make that happen, okay? So an executive order, though, I mean, I'm not going to get into all the politics here or which side you're on or aren't on, but you've heard a lot about executive orders. They're tricky. They can be overturned. They can be changed, et cetera, et cetera. But it's really encouraging different organizations to find more ways to do repair. And a lot of people have written recently that this executive order has had an impact on Apple and has had an impact on Microsoft as two examples, and others as well. We'll talk about that a little bit in a second. But in the meantime, let's look at the social movement and how it's picked up steam as well. So during COVID lockdowns, millions of people turned to the tech care industry for help with their tech. That's part of raising the awareness about repair and having the right to repair. Hey, you can get your stuff fixed. A lot of Apple stores closed down at the time, so that option became a non-option for people. And I know a lot of repair shops that did really, really a ton of business and helped a lot of people during lockdown. Same thing with tech reuse and tech refurbishment. There was so much demand for people that were going online during COVID that, school systems need, thousands of devices, hundreds and thousands of devices. And so these guys did really well too. It just really, showed how this industry was so vital during this important time in our country. Apple, backed down from a software lock that disabled features. I think this was in the beginning of November, but it was a software lock that disabled certain features after third-party repair. And they did that because of the outcry from people, from the public, for right to repair. Then Apple shocked the world, okay, by announcing a DIY repair program for its customers to fix their own tech, right? I mean, nobody saw that coming. But this is something that, by the way, friends, it didn't happen overnight. This has been in the works for a long time. But, some people that are more cynical, might say they only did it so that as this legislative season kicks off, they could, say to legislatures, hey, we got this covered, don't worry about it. Other people, sit there and want to take credit, for them doing this, et cetera, et cetera. But the point is they did it. And a lot of it had to do, a lot of people assume, we don't know for sure, right? Until Apple, right? Tim Cook writes Tim Apple, I'm sorry, that's his name, Tim Apple. Tim Cook writes the book about, his time at Apple of why they decided to do this. But it looks like it was a shareholder action. It was a movement by shareholders to say right to repair is something we need and we want to happen. The same thing happened at Microsoft, and the same thing has happened in different areas, across around the world, quite frankly. People are putting pressure on this social movement for right to repair for OEMs to make repair more accessible. Okay. Now, this program doesn't answer the need for independent repair, for independent repair professionals. So there's still a lot of questions, and we'll see what happens there. Again, Microsoft hinted at a more open policy towards repair, and recently I think they started working directly with iFixit to provide tools and equipment to fix Surface devices, which anybody in repair knows are kind of tricky to repair. So, there's been some movement there. There's been some people, that are doing things. So what happens next, right? With this right to repair movement, this political movement, this social movement, that are both steaming forward ahead. Let me say, first of all, because this is a huge, huge, huge misconception in the tech repair industry. Right to repair is not a silver bullet, okay? Plain and simple. A lot of people, I hear them talk and they say, once we have right to repair, when right to repair happens, once right to repair passes, they think when they hear some of these movements, some of these things happening, things are going to change, okay? And things will, okay? But they're not going to change overnight. They're not going to change with without a lot more effort, okay? They're not going to change without a lot more money being involved. And time. I mean, I say time here too, and that wasn't a mistake, okay? Because it's going to take time. If a law were to pass, this Washington state law, for instance, if it passes, maybe it goes into effect a year from now, maybe. And then there's the possibility, once again, that the OEMs, the lobbyists on that side, could sue, just like they're doing with the automotive bill in Massachusetts right now, and hold it up even longer. So it's not all going to magically change overnight, and it may not all magically change for the good for all of us. Okay, you have to remember this: if it becomes a law, okay, it puts the government in charge of a lot of things, and I've heard a lot of people within the greater tech care industry, point to recycling. There's a lot of regulations and laws in recycling. It didn't turn out that great for some people. So you have to remember that this is an ongoing effort, and that it requires people to be involved in every step, every way, of these efforts. So please keep that in mind, and please understand if a right to, if this Washington bill passes, for instance, right now it's got an attachment to it about certifications. You're going to have to be certified, okay, if you want to be included in this program. What is that? Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But before we do, before we look forward at what things are to come and what opportunities lay before us, let's look back for just 1 minute. And bear with me if this is boring to you, but I think it's important to look at a quick history of tech repair. Okay, tech repair, also known as cell phone or laptop computer repair right now. People are fixing drones, people are fixing VR goggles. I mean, all kinds of tech that people are fixing. Again, what I look at it is tech, and this makes it simple. So we don't have all these different definitions. And tech is being anything with a circuit board and a power source. Okay, you put a circuit board in there, you put a power source in there. Maybe it has a display screen, maybe it has something, other moving parts, whatever. It's tech. Look at Teslas. First time I sat in a Tesla, and I don't own one, by the way. I'd like to. If anybody wants to donate one, I'd be happy to accept it on behalf of the association. We are a nonprofit too, so we'll work all that out. But anyways, the first time I sat in a Tesla, I thought, wow, it's a great big iPad, right? And because it's got that huge display screen in it, and everything's controlled electronically. There's a big difference between EVs and gas turbine vehicles. Okay, big difference. Our industry is going to play a part in that at some point. So let's look at back though at when this tech repair industry really started. Okay, and it may surprise some of you guys because a lot of you are going to think you had the answer, and to be honest with you, I thought I had the answer too, but then I had to remember back even further. So the 80s were really when tech repair can trace its origins to. That's when home computers and cell phone industries begin to kind of rise up, begin to get their product out there, get more acceptance in the market. I mean, in some cases, first time stuff was being out there, and then the OEMs and distributors offered authorized repair locations. Okay, so I know in my industry, I was in the cell phone industry back then, working for the carriers. And I knew that companies like Motorola, companies like Nokia, the big guys in the industry, had authorized repair centers. Here in the DC area, for instance, that I live in, there were half a dozen, authorized repair centers you could take in for warranty support or other repair needs that you might have. So so that's really where things started. In the 90s, repair really became popular. Okay, as computers and cell phones became a normal household fixture for folks. But the secret sauce there, the gas that really got that engine going, was the internet, right? And some of y'all remember those days and were involved in some of that. Both products at that time had value, and repair made practical sense, right? I mean, phones were literally thousands of dollars. Computers, same thing. They were very expensive. Okay, and so repair just made a lot of sense until it didn't. Okay, and when that happened was in the early 2000s. Maybe late 1990s too, but right in the 2000s is where we can trace it back to. Where in a race to produce more affordable tech, bring the price down. Okay, the wireless carriers especially created a broken system. Okay, that we have now, and that is products became disposable. Okay, so the idea was it's not worth fixing. I mean, how many times have people said that? How many times do people say that to you now when they come into your shops, right? Is this worth fixing? Or can I fix this? Questions like that, because they've gotten in their mind that, most tech, most things are disposable. And that's just a horrible thing. And I blame the wireless carriers. I was part of them at the time. So I guess I got to blame myself because, we wanted, mass appeal. We wanted to get the product out there to everybody. So we were trying to make it affordable for everybody. But in turn, it became a disposable product until, okay? So the cell phone repair industry can trace its roots back, not to the iPhone, which many of you might have been thinking, but how about this? The BlackBerry 8100, the BlackBerry Pearl, okay? If you guys remember that device, okay, you remember it had a trackball, okay? Right there in the middle of it. And people loved it for whatever reason. At the time, it was a super hot product. A lot of individuals, a lot of kids, got into the product. The parent had a BlackBerry, at work, so they got one, whatever. But here's what really opened up this new industry, and that's trackball replacement. Now, two things. Trackball, first of all, the trackballs got gunky. For that's a technical term, by the way, and would need to be replaced to continue working. Okay. but also, a lot of kids that had these devices wanted to mod their BlackBerry Pearl, and do different colors. And people made, no lie, I'm not exaggerating, I wasn't a part of it, unfortunately, but people made millions of dollars selling trackball. I think there was a story in Forbes or Fortune or one of those magazines about a kid, okay, I think he was 16 years old, who started a company, got the URL trackball replacement, I think, something like that, and made millions of dollars selling these little teeny trackballs. That was really the genesis of our industry. And the next year, the iPhone launched, and that's kind of really when the industry caught fire, okay? Because for some reason Apple didn't realize that glass breaks, okay? And entrepreneurs all over the world seized on the opportunity to help people fix what they own quickly and at an affordable price, right? And that just kept changing. I really got into repair. I was in repair some in 2006, doing different things. I did some early iPhones with my repair business. But when the 3G and the 3GS came out, okay, that's when this industry exploded. And then between 2009 and 2014, the modern tech repair industry rapidly became a multi-billion-dollar industry as community-based repair shops opened around the world. And in 2014, the new industry gathered for the first time as an industry, working together. It was at the CTIA show. They were called the Wireless Repair Expos. And I believe 2014 was the first year. I know that's the first year I attended one. And lots of people from the industry started together. And this industry was real, okay? And an important part of repairing things. And I'll say this too. The repair industry taught Apple how to repair their own device. I know that sounds incredulous. I know that people are probably saying, oh, Rob, that's silly. But we did. Because for whatever reason, Apple was using the broken system, the system of device replacement, okay, as the way to repair things. You broke a screen, they swapped it out with another one. They sent it off to somebody to fix it, okay, in bulk. So the repair industry played a vital part in helping people and creating a new industry to help. Apple really needs to remember that. There's a lot of creative, brilliant people in our industry that really help them to be able to take care of their product. And they can't handle the repairs now, as we know. And we know, they do some stuff in-house, but let's talk about the broken system, first. Okay, because the OEMs and wireless carriers created a bad system to handle repair. And that bad system was device swap or ship to depot model. I can remember when I had my stores, we couldn't do some of the more complex stuff at the time. I remember one time contacting the HTC for a customer's repair. They wanted us to ship it off, and we did for the customer. We helped them out with that process, which is a pain in the rear. And then it took weeks. The customer kept coming back. What's going on? What's going on? We're sorry we helped them because, now we were the go-between and we weren't getting paid for this, okay? But we wanted to help the customer. So this depot model was just a horrible solution. And in some cases, the OEMs and retail operations out there, the Best Buys, the, Apple stores, the Radio Shack doesn't exist anymore, but, they may be back, who knows? But they had this really broken system out there, and it's still broken now because they just don't have the distribution, right? They don't have the availability of locations to take care of people and do things the way people want it done. It's a terrible, terrible solution in an on-demand world, and that is controlling the repair cycle, saying to your customers, you have to come to me, or you have to come to this only way for a solution to your problem. It's terrible. It's awful. We live in an on-demand world. People want things done immediately. When they get that done, when they achieve that, right? Look at the positive reviews at repair shops, right? I walked in, Joe was amazing. He helped me, got it repaired on the spot. Okay. On the other hand, having a gatekeeper control all these things, not a great solution. Doesn't lead to happy customers. Another reason why we have to work together. So let's hit on real quick, and I'm going to take another sip, only 2 sips during the whole thing. All right, here we go. So why people use independent tech repair, okay? They use independent tech repair because it's convenient. It's community-based. There are more than 10,000, that's 10,000, locations in the US alone. There are locations all over. There's small chains, there's big chains, there's individual shop owners, there's mobile device repair people. There's people working out of their college dorm rooms. I know people that have literally put themselves through college, paid for college, been the first person in their family to do that, fixing phones. It's an amazing industry. It really is. So, but it's convenient. That when we look at the customer, for them, what is it? It's convenient, right? So the second thing, it's professional. Now, again, I know there are rogue players out there. I know there are you know, I've seen them. I've seen them, friends. I've gone to a mall kiosk to talk to a guy, and he says, yeah, you know, it's my first day, and my boss had to go, you know, pick up his kids. Okay, so I left a brand new guy, never done a repair, in the shop. He was actually taking a battery out, and he had just ripped off, right in front of me, he had just ripped the connector off the board. And he couldn't realize what was going on. And I just, you know, I shook my head. I said, you need to call somebody to help you. Call your boss. You're going to need help with this. Okay. But so, yeah, I know there's rogue players out there, but the vast majority of the industry is not. It's very professional. Again, they learned how to do this stuff without any help from the OEM. They learned, you know, how to build a business. They learned how to repair all kinds of things. They do micro soldering. Okay, stuff that blows me away. Guys who worked for me blew me away, the stuff that we could fix. I had no idea. It's an amazing industry full of a lot of professionals. It's fast. Okay, most places you can walk into, no appointment, get a repair under an hour. Okay, it's just amazingly fast. We live in an on-demand world. People don't want to be hassled. They don't want to package something up to ship it off. Okay. And that applies to recycling too. Recyclers out there, you got to think of better programs. Talk to me. I got an idea. You know, but they don't want to have to ship things off. They want to just be able to walk in, get things taken care of. The independent tech repair industry is that. It's very fast. It provides creative solutions. Again, these repair people wrote the book. Okay, literally and figuratively. They're amazing people that have done amazing things and solved many a problem. Okay, you know, I can tell you stories all day long. I won't, because we're going to be running out of time. So I'm going to move on. It's affordable, right? So they provided some wonderful, affordable solutions, and we can do that throughout the industry. So this independent, community-based tech repair is the smartest way to do repair. My question is, why don't OEMs embrace it? It's everywhere. They can't hire all these people. These people don't want to work for you. Okay, they're independent. They want to work for themselves. It's the American dream. Let's fulfill that, friends. You know, at the same time, OEMs continue to maintain a broken model for repair. Come to us and us alone, because only we can solve your problem. Wasn't that something? So it's a broken solution. You know, I mean, Apple's got distribution with stores, great, but they only have what, 300, 200, something, I don't know, in the US. I mean, you know, it's a hassle to have to come to an Apple store, okay? You know, and make an appointment and wait and park and all this kind of stuff. When community-based repair is available, quick, fast, easy. Let's figure out a way to get these people, you know, certified. Let's figure out a way to get these people, you know, to be able to repair your product and get your blessing. Okay. Enough. So, but here's where the tech repair industry must improve. The industry has to have industry standards. It's got to have industry certifications. It's got to be organized. This is critical. Okay. Now, I know some people are going to say there's organizations out there that are doing that, and they've started. They've made some attempts, but it's very imperfect. So we as an industry have to be able to do these things. We have to be able to organize and do better. The challenge for the industry, though, here at this point and time is who do you cede power to in this fight to survive? In this fight to thrive? If you're doing well, great. God bless you. I'm glad you're doing well. Okay, you're going to hit a wall at some point, though. I'm going to tell you that. Everybody does. Been in this industry a long time, seen some that have risen to great heights, made a lot of money, and then, you know, things came crashing down. You know, so are you going to, you know, give up this power to your industry, or do you want to govern yourself? I think that governing yourself is what most, if not all of us, want to do. You want somebody else to lead you, hey, that's go do that. So here are the options, the OEMs, and I'm going to cover these you know, quickly because they speak for themselves. We can right now we cede power to the OEMs, plain and simple. They have control over access, pricing, market players, and the like. Right to repair may or may not solve that. Okay, right to repair might solve that, but then the OEMs may come in later with this certification process and exude a lot more control over than any of us want. So do we want to give power to the OEMs? Do we want to give power to the government? That's a tough one, right? I know a lot of you guys out there are very much, I ain't giving no power to the government. And maybe some of you are on the other end like, heck yeah, I want the government to be in charge of everything. You know, I kind of fall in the middle, right? I look at this though and think if laws are made, you know, then the government's going to have the final say on the matter. If they want to put in some conditions and some requirements and tweak things, they're going to do that. You know, and we don't have the power or money to compete with what, you know, continues to go on. We need to be able to have a say there. Maybe there's some government intervention here, but I don't think we want to give it all to them. And in some ways, that's what right to repair seems to me. Outside organizations, okay, I know there's a lot of great organizations out there, first of all, and there's a lot of great people that are very well intentioned out there, and I think that's great. But you know, in terms of certification, the only certification out there we have right now is through CTIA, and CTIA is controlled by big tech companies. So you know, I have a lot to say about that. I won't say it right now. I would love to work with them, but any working with organizations is a two-way street, friends. Can't just take on. We can't just say, hey, government, be in charge. Hey, OEMs, be in charge. We'll do whatever you want. Hey, outside organizations, you be in charge. We'll do whatever you want. It's got to be a two-way street. It has to be a two-way street. So go it alone, right? Hey, you know, maybe you're one of these bigger chains. Maybe you're an up-and-coming chain. Okay, it has a lot of shops. Again, God bless you. You've been doing great work. But no one company or small group has the power. Okay, they just don't. Even these companies that are owned, you know, the U-Break, iFix, CPRs, who are owned by big corporations now, they don't have the power to control everything. But you know who does? Our own industry. Okay, by working together in a self-governed trade association like the Tech Care Association. Listen, friends, the Tech Care Association is a nonprofit. This is almost a passion play for me. Okay, I started the Tech Care Association. I'm running it now, and you know, it's not for me to make millions. Okay, I didn't do this, you know, for fame or glory or anything else. I'd love for somebody else to be sitting in this chair right now talking to you. My anxiety was through the roof before this, and I don't think I got my LinkedIn live connection working right. That's a whole other story. We'll be on YouTube later. But you know what? We need to govern ourselves. We need to manage ourselves, okay, if we want to be successful. And right now, we're at a crossroads, okay? Our industry is at a crossroads. We've been passing mileposts a lot, so lots of signs we've seen on the road, okay? But now we're hitting this intersection, and we got to choose one direction or the other. Okay, so do we give power to some of these organizations I mentioned before? Do we give power for the government to reign over our industry as they see fit? These are questions I want answers from you guys. If you guys, you know, come to me and as an industry say, yeah, we want this, then hey, you know, I want to do that. I want to do what the industry wants. But I think we all want to, you know, maintain some autonomy. I think we all want to maintain some independence. I think some of the guys that are tied with some of the organization want some independence now that, you know, corporate big daddy is in there. So, you know, we can cede power to others or seize power with self-governance. It's your choice, my friends. It's your choice, okay? we need to decide what we're going to do. The Tech Care Association believes that brighter days are ahead for our industry. And trust me, I've had meetings with OEMs. I've had meetings with some pretty important people, okay, out there. And they want to work together. But we have to organize to be able to do that, number one. Number two, you know, we have to be prepared and we have to be smart to do this, okay? Because the OEMs do want a partner. They do need a partner, as you've seen me spell out in this webinar. So it's now just time, you know, if you want to join us and invest in a united future, let's do it, okay? We need money. I need to hire people. I'll be honest with you. I need to hire people and I got to pay people. I'm not going to ask people to do this for free, okay? You know, because you guys out there, you're all doing your own thing. I know. I've asked some people to do things. They've jumped on things, but then they've had to back off because they're business. And I get that. So, you know what? Invest in your association, the Tech Care Association, and help us, you know, to move this forward. We just need that to happen. And I'll say again, we would love to work with other organizations, okay? And there's some other organizations out there that are great. And if, you know, I know there's organizations a lot of you guys belong to that can provide you discounts. That's great, okay? If that value is there for you, that money you invest and the value you get back is there, be a part of that organization, okay? You know, if you're, you know, happy with a certification system out there that benefits you, you know, be a part of that organization, okay? The Tech Care Association is intended to represent the entire industry and to help the entire industry, you know, move things forward. And we're happy to work with anybody. I love some of the shows that are out there. There's some trade shows coming up that folks are organizing, and that's great. I'd like to think that some of our activity maybe has played a part in that, you know, in encouraging people to do more things, you know, to create more events, more, you know, more talking about the industry. That's what we need. That's a whole other webinar right there, what this industry desperately needs, and that's awareness. Trust me. Awareness, you read some of the stuff I posted, people just don't know we exist. Join us and let's join together, you know, to make this thing happen. All right, so I got like a minute because you guys know that I love to end on time, and I will end on time. You know, I always get, you know, when I was a sales rep for the carriers, I'd get to the end and I'd say to my customer, you know, do you have any questions? And they'd say, no, you covered it. So hopefully I covered everything. This is why I get stressed out before these things, because I try to be thorough. I try to do a good job, and that's what I'm trying to do with the Tech Care Association for everybody out there. So if you don't have questions, I get it, and that's cool. Thank you for not having a question, because that means I can end on time. So we're going to do our prize drawings for folks afterwards, like we have grown accustomed to do, instead of going through names and figuring things out. So we'll announce the winners. We'll send you an email and announce it on social media. And I want to thank you guys. Thank you for joining us today. And I look forward to our next monthly webinar, which is going to be great. It's going to be incredible, because we're going to have a really, really special presentation there about on-demand solutions for repair shops. So how you can make more money. Sign up for our next webinar on February 24th if you own a repair shop. You won't regret it.